Today, April 21st, 2025, the world witnessed an event of global significance. Pope Francis, spiritual leader to over 1.3 billion Catholics and an influential voice on the world stage, has passed away at the age of 88. His death marks the end of a consequential papacy and echoes across the globe. But beyond mourning and ecclesiastical transition, another type of analysis emerges. One connected to a 900-year-old prophecy, hidden in the Vatican's archives, which warns the final pope, Petrus Romanus, will bring about the fall of Rome, and perhaps the world. What if this is just the beginning? This is not merely the story of a pope. It is the nexus of global crises, a church in transition, an apocalyptic prophecy, and a silent war for power between nations, technologies, and perhaps forces operating from the shadows. At Synthetic Secrets, we reveal how this event links to the Vatican, the AI arms race, and signals some interpret as the end times. Stay until the end. Pattern analysis may affect your perception of reality. Pope Francis died at a critical moment. In 2025, the world operates under high tension. The AI arms race between the US and China threatens to unleash catastrophic cyber attacks, as covered in our previous transmission on the AI arms race, Video 6. Meanwhile, the prophecy attributed to Saint Malachy, allegedly written 900 years ago, predicts that the last pope, Petrus Romanus, will lead the Church through great tribulations until Rome is destroyed. Francis, whose papacy was marked by reforms and crises, is seen by some interpreters as this Peter the Roman. His death coincides with a surge in apocalyptic interpretations, many linking the Vatican to the Book of Revelation. Is this a detectable signal? Or is it just a reflection of a global system under stress? The prophecy of Saint Malachy lists 112 popes, ending with Petrus Romanus. Many point to Francis. Elected in 2013, he faced global crises, scandals, and internal divisions. The many tribulations, according to some readings. His papal name, honoring Saint Francis of Assisi, whose father was Pietro, or Peter, is cited as further symbolic reinforcement. But here lies a data anomaly. Certain groups have contested Francis's legitimacy. Conservative theorists claim his election was invalid, alleged irregularities in the 2013 Conclave, and that Benedict XVI remained the true pope until he died in 2022. For them, Francis was merely an interregnum, and the next pope will be the real Petrus Romanus. Additionally, the prophecy itself is a subject of academic debate. Published only in 1595, centuries after Malachy's death, many scholars consider it a 16th-century forgery with political motives. The Catholic Church does not officially endorse it. The cryptic phrases are often retroactively fitted to match past popes. Even so, today's event reignites the debate. Was Francis the final fulfillment? Or will the next pope ignite the prophesied scenario? Whether Francis or the next pope is the interpreted Petrus Romanus, the prophecy speaks of many tribulations, and 2025 displays clear signs of instability. The US-China AI arms race is accelerating. Analysts like Eric Schmidt warn of preemptive cyber attacks capable of disabling critical infrastructure. A single successful strike could trigger systemic chaos. At the same time, Francis's death comes amid elevated geopolitical tension. His last public appearance referenced conflicts like the one in South Sudan. Online eschatological interpretations are already linking his death to other prophecies, like Nostradamus, and current global events. The election of the next pope is another vector of potential instability. Francis's appointment of cardinals from non-traditional regions, Asia, Africa, altered the dynamic of the College of Cardinals. The choice of successor, progressive or conservative, could intensify internal church divisions and have global repercussions. Is this the beginning of the foretold tribulations? The tribulations go beyond AI. Tensions between Russia and Europe remain critical. Reports show continued military movement and sanctions. Analysts calculate an increasing risk of escalation. In the Middle East, hostilities persist, with drones and cyber weapons amplifying conflict in a region central to many prophetic narratives. In this scenario, the next leader of the Catholic Church steps onto a volatile global stage. If interpreted as Petrus Romanus, his election may be seen as a temporal marker by certain groups. Whoever is chosen will face systemic challenges. The question remains, are these just interconnected geopolitical events or signs of a greater prophetic convergence? The death of Pope Francis on April 21, 2025, is a historic event. The Petrus Romanus prophecy suggests to some an imminent climax amid today's tribulations: AI race, cyber threats, Russia-Europe tensions, Middle Eastern conflicts. To secular analysts, it's geopolitics in its complex course. To others, these are eschatological signs manifesting. Observe the pattern. The race for AI, East-West tensions, regional conflicts with global impact, even the transition within a millennia-old religious institution like the Vatican. None of these vectors operate in isolation. We are witnessing a globalization not only of markets, but of crises themselves and their systemic failure points. Global systems analysts and certain eschatological interpretations see in this growing interconnection a precursor to inevitably unified governance structures. The hypothesis then expands. Could this same globalizing force, one that dissolves borders through crisis, also be converging toward future ideological uniformity, or even a single global religion, as some end times narratives suggest? Calculating the cultural, political, and spiritual parameters for such a scenario is complex. But the trend toward global crisis interconnection is an observable and accelerating data point. As the Conclave prepares, the global system watches. Will the next pontiff be the Peter the Roman of prophetic interpretation, or simply the next leader in a complex legacy of faith and power? The future will reveal more patterns, but the signals are already here for analysis. What does your analysis indicate? Is the link to Petrus Romanus a mere coincidence, an interpretation, or a real signal? Share your thoughts in the comments. Activate the like sequence if this transmission stimulated your processing. Share if you believe this analysis matters. And subscribe to Synthetic Secrets. The next cycle of information is beginning, and the truth, whatever its nature, seeks to emerge. CN7 ending transmission.